Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome back to our Legacy of Kain 2 Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 2, Remaster, Episode 2. Well, we're gonna just hop straight into the episode. Last time we basically figured out a whole bunch of mumbo-jumbo and what we've got to do. We found our god, who is looking like a giant squid right now. But we are now going to head on forwards. Everyone's mad that we haven't killed Kain yet, but we want to figure things out for ourselves instead of doing what everyone else is telling us. But I'm just going to quickly cut to when we get out of the this watery area. Okay, we have made it out of the little waterlogged cave.
I surfaced into a very different landscape. The daylight barely penetrated the dense canopy of this forest. Here I discovered an ancient ruin, unmistakably one of Mobius's time-streaming chambers, but long ago sealed and abandoned to the encroaching swamp. I didn't currently possess the means to break this seal, but I thought in time that I might.
Yeah, so we managed to get our way to a swamp. We are basically doing what Kain suggested in the last episode when we confronted him at the pillars, and we are figuring out some hidden secrets and finding things out for ourselves. Yeah, that's pretty much all we're doing in today's episode. I have two things on the agenda that I want us to get done. Obviously, just like in the previous games, there are dungeons in this game, and I would like to get at least the first two done in today's episode. Whether or not we achieve that is another thing.
So, my lurking observer was exposed. The creature vanished when he realized he was discovered. But I caught a glimpse of him, and his features were distinctive enough. This was the vampire Vorador, the monstrous assassin depicted in the stronghold. Strange that a creature brazen enough to assault the circle single-handedly would avoid confronting me. Very well. If Vorador would not come to me, I would go to him. But first I needed to find some means of reaching that terrace.
Yeah, so for now we got to get up and away to that terrace up there. It's up there. No, up there. It surprisingly doesn't take too long to get up there, but yeah, that was Vorador, the one, like he said, it depicted in the shrine, killing the shrine guardians, Mobius's, buddies and crew. Whether or not he truly is as monstrous as they said, I suppose we'll soon find out. But this game, like I said, it's got, the classic, just like the original, is dungeons that we gotta get through, and well, we'll learn more as we go on. However, the one thing that I guess that kind of bugs me about this game a little bit, especially when you compare it to the first, there are no there are no bosses, really. We never really fight any bosses, at least not until the very end. Burn, bitch. Give me your soul. Yeah, there's no bosses, at least not until like I said, the very end of the game, which has always bugged me a bit, but I personally still really love this game. I mean, quite a lot of challenging, I would say, puzzles and areas in this game. They feel a lot more challenging in the than in the first game. However, you don't really get that sense until at least after the first dungeon. The first one is very easy in my opinion, although maybe that's just because obviously I know how to do it. When you don't know how to do it, it does feel a lot more complicated, but once you understand it, you realize it's quite simple.
There appeared to be a passage here, leading northward into the mountains. The opening, however, was obstructed and too high for me to reach. Perhaps later I would find the means to bypass these obstacles.
We can only hope. So yeah, there are quite a few areas that for now we have no way to bypass. I'm just going to quickly take that off because I want the help from him. Yeah, there are a few areas that obviously we do not have the ability to get yet. Just like in the previous games, there are upgrades for us to find. Well, not find, but to get when we complete dungeons. So once we've got the sufficient upgrade required, we should be able to continue on that way. But for now, we don't have any upgrades at all whatsoever, and pretty soon we will have our first. Like I said, we've already made it to this
My lurking
temple.
friend was nowhere to be seen, but I found these ruins even more intriguing. I recognized these arcane symbols from the chamber beneath the pillars, and realized that this shrine, too, was sealed to all but the bearer of the Reaver.
So yeah, once again, it's only someone with the Reaver who is able to access this temple. And just like the previous one, it has probably been sealed for a very, very long time. But we come along and we just pop it open, no problem, no bother. But this is our first temple. Like I said, it's relatively simple compared to most of the temples that we will encounter. But we will, in almost all the temples, encounter enemies with these little coloured shields, and we just gotta take them and plop them into a door or whatever it needs us to put it in to open the next part of the area. Nothing too crazy. The one good thing about there being no collectibles in this game is you don't really need to worry and search around everywhere for collectibles, because, well, there aren't any. Let's quickly... I was hoping we could absorb that. Yeah, because unfortunately we can't get back from the Shadow Realm. I called it the Shadow Realm because of Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah, we can't get back from the Spectral Realm unless we have full health, full energy. So as soon as we transform, I like to try and get full energy as soon as possible. I like that, so that way we can get on in and keep going as soon as we can. But now that we've entered into here, we need to go all the way down here. It is a bit... oh no, I was wrong. All the way into here, I should say, for us to be able to turn back. So yes, as the game showed us, we need to get that up there. It's quite a big part of a lot of the game's dungeon puzzles is getting these sundials, or at least the first two. Getting the sundials to enable you to basically use like light and beams of light to unlock and do certain things. Nothing crazy. Come on, let's just kick his ass. There are quite a few enemies in this dungeon. We don't have to kill them all. Let's just we don't have to kill them all, but it's always nice if you're playing this game for the first time and you're looking for achievements. You should strive to kill as many enemies as you can because you get an achievement for absorbing enemy souls, a certain amount. And for killing an enemy with every style and type of weapon that is in the game. Which every temple area has its own unique weapon or weapons, and so do quite a few of the enemies, but not too many.
Throughout this ancient shrine, murals depicted the winged race, the apocalyptic war against their mysterious and equally inhuman adversaries. These winged beings, it seemed, were not only the architects of the pillars, but of this enigmatic place as well. And just as in the pillars' chamber, this shrine was adorned throughout with imagery of the Reaver, depicted with the reverence of a holy icon.
Yeah, so thanks to these murals, we get the sense and the feeling that the Reaver, like he said, is a holy icon, or at least an icon of, you know, importance. Can you... Thank you. Eat that, and chop. But yeah, like I said, different areas have different weapons. See, these little cool staffs, these little ruby-looking staffs. But for now, we need to fly on over here. This game is notorious, by the way, for having areas, not this one, because it's very obvious you can make it. There are a few moments where I would at least get a little confuzzled and be like, what do I do here? It doesn't look like I can make that jump, but you end up making the jump. So you kind of got to, you know, trial and error in this game, at least your first time playing through it. A lot of it is, can I make that? Is that where I've got to go? Things of that nature. But if I'm remembering correctly, yes, I was going to say we can open this straight away and head on down here. I think it's this one we're going to go down first. There's two different ones. I just never fully remember which one we're going to go down first. Get out of here. Some of the enemies, it feels like they have a lot of health. So, no? There we go. It took a while for that to come out. But we don't need to really worry about them anyway. We can just quickly phase on through. Oh, I was trying to make sure we had full health when we came into the spirit world, but the game took that off us anyway, so it didn't really matter. But let's quickly dispatch one of these little goblin, gremlin little things. I can never remember their names. They tell you their names in the first game, but me trying to remember that isn't gonna happen. But now that we've got the full health, we can in fact come back out of the spirit world. Obviously, you can only use these little portal things, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Right, now we gotta climb all the way up here, and then obviously jump across, and then go back into the spirit world in order to raise the platform up, so that we can make it to that platform there. And this is another example of sometimes it doesn't really look like you're gonna make it, from what I remember. Yeah, see, like I remember the first time I was like, there's no way I can make that. And when you mess up the the jump and glide, there isn't a way to make it. God damn it. Now we gotta... Come on. There's a soul all the way over there. There we go. Is it... Oh. It's technically not full. There we go, now it's full. So frustrating when it does things like that, but can't really be helped. Luckily, like I said, most of the time you can just bypass most of the enemies. You don't really need to bother with them that much. This game is, you know, it does have combat areas and moments where you do have to fight. But luckily the first temple is rather lenient. You don't really have to take on that many enemies. Although there is a good chunk of areas where you don't have to kill the enemies, but it can make it a little quicker and easier if you do. So we're going to be going, you know, some parts we're not going to attack any of the enemies, we're going to move on. Other parts I'm going to kill most of them, if not all, just to make it a little easier. But let's get the Reaver out. This is another instance of one of the little shield button things being needed to continue onwards. So let's pop this on in. Cha-ching. And in we go. Right. This is like the first room when I first played through this game that got me so stuck, because I had no idea what to do. It will and does tell you, you know, you got to use the Reaver to shoot the projectile or the right spot or something like that, but it never actually tells you what you got to shoot. And it took me a little while to figure out you just got to shoot that. Just got to look up and shoot that. And that allows the sunlight, like I said, there's a lot of sunlight usage in the temples to thing. And then the second part that took me a while to figure out is that you got to move this across to create basically a shadow that unlocks the hidden pathway in the in the like sun shrine. There's 4 all over the room. Basically expects you to figure out. Can I? This one jump here can be a little tricky for some reason. It doesn't always work. There we go. And then glide on through. And Bob's your uncle. We're at that little stone tablet that it looked like we couldn't get. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, your first time playing through this game, you're going to be like, am I going the right way? Which way do I have to go? And then obviously you come across that puzzle and it can be a little confusing. But ultimately this is probably, well, not probably, it is the easiest of all the dungeons and things we're going to be doing. So once you've done this one, you're like, wow, that felt kind of hard. You kind of realize afterwards, oh, that was the easy one. But we need to use this sundial to open this. Oh, I'm getting pings. And then we need to take this all the way to the other end of the room, because there's a little sundial we've got to place it on. And then we need to use the turn thing again to turn the sun into the other direction so we can go through the other door. Not super complicated, but if I'm remembering correctly, you do have to do it in the order we're doing it. I don't think you're supposed to do it by going through this way first, from what I remember. Again, I could be wrong. It's been a little while since I played this game, but this temple has always stuck with me on how to do it mostly. We're just lucky that I did choose to go the other way, because, like I said, there is a possibility that we wouldn't have been able to do the opposite way. But now we need to come down here, ignore those little demony boys, and get ourselves back in the proper world, so we can climb back up and then move that little sundial into the appropriate position. Right, up we go. But I hope you're all doing okay. I hope you've had a good day, good week. I have had a pretty good day, you know. I've just been chilling, vibing. Went out drinking the other day, had a nice time. If you're underage, I don't recommend you drink. It's naughty, it's not fun. And if you are above age, well, it's a great time. But yeah, I had a great few nights, so I've just been chilling. But now we've got to move this, and that creates a nice little shadow bridge. Which, again, it took me way too long to figure this out the first time I played this game. way too long. But once you've done that, it's relatively easy. And then, if I'm remembering correctly, we turn this. Let's face there. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, no, Dolly, again. See, this just goes to show it has been a little while. There is another thing we're going to shoot up here. Oh, I'm not in a correct enough position to hit it. Can I... Sir? Thank you. Sometimes the hitbox is a little finicky, as you just saw. But once that's done, we've pretty much done the first temple. And this is what I mean by it. It's not a super long temple. It's not super difficult. It can just be a little tricky. It kind of just sort of gets you used to the mechanics coming on up. Oh, I forgot about this sundial. I'm not sure which way we got to push it. We'll go this way first. Ah, there we go. See, I'll pretend I meant to do that. That was on purpose, guys. That's how smart I am. But there we go, that causes a reflection on the moon. So yeah, now we just gotta get on out of this temple. Well, we gotta collect our upgrade first, obviously. Like I said, every temple we do tends to have an upgrade. I don't think every single one does, but
as I neared the altar, I suddenly felt the Reaver quickening of its own volition. Just as in William's chapel, the balance of power tangibly shifted. Voracious and willful, the Soul Reaver was now in control, and I, merely its helpless puppet. The Reaver plunged itself into that mysterious altar, and devouring the energy that emanated from within, drained this place of its power. Thus sated, the Reaver released me, and I realized as I recovered control that these ancient shrines were forges, each purpose-built to enhance the Reaver with elemental power.
Yeah, so like I said in the first game, if you remember, we only ever got one elemental Reaver upgrade because they wanted to add more, but they didn't have time, so we only got the normal Reaver and the Fire Reaver. So this game rectifies that and gives us multiple elemental Reavers, all with their own unique, like, niche thing that they do.
Now I understood the purpose of the mysterious basins I had seen throughout my journey. They were elemental fonts, each attuned to a fundamental essence. When I forged the blade, every font in Nosgoth with the same elemental attunement was simultaneously quickened. The Reaver's enhancements were never permanent, but these fonts enabled me to re-imbue the blade by bathing it in the elemental energy distilled therein.
So yeah, we now will be able to any of the dark, well, it's darkness or yeah, darkness basically, or I guess shadow or evil energy. That is the first Reaver we unlock.
One eclipsing the other. I recognized this symbol from the door sealing that other ancient shrine, the one I had seen in the lake outside the Sarafan stronghold. Perhaps now, armed as I was with the elemental power of darkness, I could return and gain entry.
There you go. I was right, the elemental power of darkness. So yeah, there will be certain doors and certain things that require certain elemental Reavers to open, and other things that require elemental Reavers. For example, the Shadow's main ability, I guess you could say, is to create like shadow bridges for us to walk across over gaps that we wouldn't normally be able to get across. Yeah, each element has its own sort of thing it does. I'm not going to spoil what the other elements are in case you don't know. You know, I don't want to be that guy. But I remember first time playing through this game, I was so excited when I got the first elemental Reaver. I was way beyond excited. I was like, oh my god, yes! And now the temple seals permanently, no way in or out.
A ragged excuse for a savior.
Vorador.
I see my reputation precedes me.
It does.
All good, I hope? I've been watching you since you emerged from that accursed stronghold. Strange that your arrival coincides with the corruption of the pillars. But I'm wondering, are you the catalyst of these events? Or the answer to them?
I don't know what you mean.
I will speak plainly then. I distrust your origin, stranger. Seeing you crawl from the putrid depths of Mobius's keep makes me question your purpose here. And what should I make of your appearance? Not human, clearly, and more demon than vampire. And the pillars. It is no mere coincidence that your arrival in that clearing heralded the pillars' decay. And so I ask you plainly, are you the instrument of the pillars' destruction, or their salvation?
Neither.
Very well. Let us look at the other side of the coin. I have followed your journey and watched as you blithely unlocked secrets that have been sealed and forbidden for thousands of years. The path you have been treading is open to only one being. You don't know what you are, do you?
I have been many things. If you find me ignorant, enlighten me.
What's the point? This world is beyond redemption. Let the human cattle have it.
I would expect better than meek capitulation from you.
Centuries of persecution have taught me well. 500 years ago, our race was nearly exterminated by the fanatical crusades of the Seraphan. And now the same sick drama unfolds again. In merely a decade, Mobius's cutthroat citizen army has nearly accomplished what the Seraphan could not. Vampires meddling in the affairs of men. Look where it's brought us.
What am I to make of these secrets I've uncovered, then? The depictions of the winged race, the pillars, and the Reaver.
Fairy tales, boy. The delusions of an ancient culture clinging to hope long after the world had discarded them. Their bloodline trickled away, until only one of the ancients remained, sustained solely by obligation and his unfaltering faith in the old prophecies. But you see, even if you are who you appear to be, it no longer matters. You're simply too late. Janos Audron, the Reaver Guardian, the last of the ancients, and my maker, was murdered by the Seraphan nearly 5 centuries ago. He alone would have the answers you seek, but his secrets died with him. I don't know how you've come even this far without his guidance, or without the Reaver, stolen these 500 years ago by the Seraphan. I'm afraid, my friend, that you and all of us are out of luck.
I had no less reason to trust Vorador than anyone else I had met. In fact, the ancient vampire was the most forthright being I had encountered thus far. If Janos Audron was the key to all this, then I would find him, and Mobius's time-streaming device would provide me passage. But first, I had to find a way back into the stronghold, and I suspected I would find the means within the lake's mysterious shrine.
So yeah, now we need to head back to the lake, to the mysterious shrine, if that wasn't already kind of obvious. But if you couldn't tell, Janos Audron is not exactly here anymore, so we kind of sort of need a way back if we really want answers. But him, Vorador being like, oh yeah, how did you get this far without the Reaver? Buddy, we got the Reaver. We already gassed it. Thank you. So yeah, now we basically just have to head back the way we came. And just like that, we are back in the main chamber that obviously we came from with the water. And cutscene.
Ah, my wayward child returns.
Having unearthed more than you'd like, I suspect. What am I to make of these ruins that litter the land, and these images here in this chamber?
Merely the deceits of a failed civilization. You are being misled, Raziel. This ancient race hoped to manipulate the future with these scrawled misdirections. You must tread carefully. There are dark forces at work in this world, bent on subverting your true destiny.
I have no doubt of that. The question is, am I in their presence right now?
Your arrogance will spell your demise, Raziel. Deny my will, and the arc of your destiny will reach a sudden conclusion.
Your threats are unmoving. Even now, I'm beyond your reach.
My reach is longer than you realize. This is a very dangerous game you're playing, Raziel.
Yeah, so he doesn't seem as powerful as he once did. Or at least, because we are in this time, he no longer has the hold over us that he does in the first game, with the ability to unmake us. And like Raziel said, who is the one trying to subvert and change our destiny? We don't know because we can't trust anyone. Everyone is seeming to work off their own agenda, but I suppose only time will tell. And we've got to head back to the Seraphim stronghold and use the Dark Reaver to enter the new area. Alright, we have made it to the stronghold and the shrine door that we could not open before, but now thanks to the Dark Reaver we can. So let's head on into the next temple. Like I said, this temple is a little more complex and a little more complicated than the first temple we went into, but again, nothing overly difficult. But let's quickly take care of this guy. There we go. Some health here. Not that much health, but it's better than none. Better than none. Let's take care of this one too. These are the little zombies that shoot this like acid goop at us, basically. Like that. But we're not going to let him really get away with that for much longer. Bugger it, we'll just head on forwards. And this is the first... I did not manage to glide again. Sometimes the gliding can be a bit finicky and it doesn't come out when you want it to. But this is the first instance of us using the Reaver, the Dark Reaver, I should say, to create a bridge.
These murals left no room for doubt. These winged creatures were indeed the architects of the pillars. And while the images were difficult to decipher, the pillars appeared to banish or diminish their enemies somehow.
Yes, so more confirmation that whoever these winged blue dudes are, they are the ones who created these temples, and by the looks of things, either the Reaver itself or they, just worshipped it as a holy relic. But now we need to open the door. Let's quickly... God damn it. They took the souls I wanted. That's not fair. That's not on. Now I'm going to have to take care of you. Ow. Did he make him spit that out, or did he just... Or did it just... Oh, really? Again? Just shy of enough? That's not fair. Ow. Ow. Over here. Hopefully we can get... There we go. Back into the real world we go. Yes, there are enemies there. But we are going to ignore them now, because we don't need to deal with those. And we're going to continue on in, open this door. Okay, sorry, got quickly interrupted, but I'm back now. So yeah, we got to use once again the light, and we got to use light to reflect off these little sundials to essentially open this door, because there is a item in here that we need to get. However, it's never going to be that simple as just get the object. So, like I said, we've got to open this door that we just phased through, and we need to get ourselves the. Can you? Really? There we go. We need to get ourselves. Basically, there's a relic item thing that we need to grab and place into the altar back in there to activate the next elemental Reaver. However, we need the Dark Reaver in order to actually get it. Because, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, but there is like a little evil eye looking dude right there. Yeah, he don't want us to get it. Not at all. You'll see why now. You'll see what what the eye will do to us. So yeah, the eye kind of vaporizes you, and we ain't got time for that. So we're gonna have to go back, make our way through the temple, figure some things out, and then get ourselves the Dark Reaver, because as well as making bridges, the Dark Reaver can also be used to shoot those little eyeballs and basically cloud their vision for us, which then obviously will allow us to grab said artifact. First, let's get the Reaver out though, because I was going to say there's going to be some enemies here, but again, as you can see on the side here, there is another weapon. Like I said, every area has their own weapons. Yeah, I don't care about you, buddy. There we go. So, as per usual, we're going to use these little sundial things to open certain doors, certain pathways. Nothing too complicated from what we were doing in the first temple, but like I said, this one's a bit longer and is a little bit more complex. But we're going to take care of this dude, Big Chungus here, because once he goes, his little soldier dudes dip out. They're like, well, if he couldn't beat him, what hope do I have? Which is something I wish I knew on my first time playing through, because I always took care of the little ones surrounding him first, and any of the other ones I encountered, to make it easier to take care of him. And then obviously I found out that that wasn't really necessary. But that's fine, that's fine. I'm going to place this on in. And hocus pocus, we got light again. I forgot more of you. That one. Where are you? Yeah. I do love the Reaver in this game. Like I said before, the fact that you basically... It's basically the best weapon in the game, and although the more you use it, it's more likely to start damaging us. It's also, you know, more powerful the more you use it, and the more the bar, you know, goes up, the more damage you do to enemies, and the quicker you kill them. So it's a very neat mechanic, and I do like what they did with the Reaver in this game. It's quite a nice change. But once again, we need to go back into the spectral realm. Can I take care of you first? Actually, no, I don't think I need to take care of him just yet. Ow. So yeah, that is where the Dark Reaver energy thing is. And we need to get up there. Hey! I wanted that. Big meanie. But, thank you. The first time, again, I did this temple, it took me a very long time to figure out what I had to do, which ways I had to go first, all that jazz, because it is not a very... Let's see if we can get that. Oh, come here. Yeah, it's not a very easy temple. This is one of the main ones where it's like, there's no way I can make this. And then, of course, you make it quite comfortably. So yeah, the game is very deceitful when it comes to that. But now we've basically got to go all the way to the end of this corridor to go back into the non-spectral realm to get the Dark Reaver, and there we will keep it, hopefully, as long as we don't get knocked into the spectral realm or accidentally go into the spectral realm. We will keep it, because as you can see, there is one of these little things here which requires the Dark Reaver to create a bridge. So, you know, not only just for the little zappy of the eye dude, but yeah. So now we basically just got to walk all the way back. It is sometimes there are certain puzzles like this thing where you have to do these things and it's a bit tedious and it's a bit like, oh, really? But you know, that's just puzzle games for you, really. I know some people aren't a huge fan of the puzzles in these games. I personally am. I always really enjoy them. It's taking these enemies, make this a little bit easier. So we're gonna pop this bad boy out quickly, so we have a way back up that we can take. Where are you? There you are. I was gonna say, where's the little bowl dude? Also, is it gonna happen? Yeah. When we want to use these little bowls, if we don't already have that element, usually a little creepy looking spirit dude comes out to block the way and fight us. Same with certain gates of the certain element. There we go, like that. But luckily the Reaver takes care of them, mostly no problem. But now we need to open this. Well, we don't need to open it. It just means that if we do lose the Reaver, we no longer have to do that puzzle and walk all the way back from the spectral realm that we just did. We can just walk through that gate and grab the dark element, which makes it a lot easier because, like I said, first time doing this, it's you don't realize how really to go about this temple. I mean, it's the same with all of the temples. There's one temple area in particular that I hate. No matter how many times I do it, it always still manages to confuse me a little bit. Whereas with the first couple of temples, or at least the first two usually for sure, I tend to, you know, remember how to do it, and even when I don't, it's not too difficult for me to quickly realize what I've got to do. But there is a later temple that, oh my goodness, I think it must have taken me, I don't even know how long to do it the first time. I mean, it was a pain. I was trying for at least 2 hours, maybe longer. But once again, we're going to go straight for the big guy, because get rid of the big guy, you get rid of the little guys. But yeah, it took me way too long, and I had to add insult to injury. There is an achievement in this game for doing that one temple in, like, I can't even remember how long it is, but it's basically expects you to do it incredibly quickly. And your first time doing it, you're most certainly not getting through it that fast. Because, again, once you know what you've got to do, it's not too bad, but when you don't know what you've got to do, oof, it's a problem. Right, okay, first little door bit done. If I'm remembering correctly, yeah, I know why that hasn't shined the light just yet. We've got to go back in there and move the little dial something to the other side so it shines a light on that. But we aren't going back through there via the spectral realm. I did that the first time I did this temple and I regret it, because you can just use the Dark Reaver to open this one, and you basically just go in through the back. Just nothing too crazy. In fact, I was going to say, from what I remember, this bit is kind of the easy one. You just open the door, slot this in to lower that, and then turn the sundial, and it's pretty much done for that one. So this one's always been decently easy. Nothing too crazy. Come here, spin, there we go. And just like that, we got our first light activated. Whoop whoop. Whoop whoop. Right, and now we go on in through here. We're just going to ignore those guys because they're not really going to be a problem right now. And this is the one I was on about with me to just push this sundial back the other way. Him. Can you not duck? Thank you. Get out of here. Go, and now. Oh yeah, I forget, you can always just tap X and it slowly pushes this. Yeah, you can go this. Oh, there we go. Of your uncle, that's that open. I'm gonna teleport us all the way down to the evil eye. Okay, and we're back at the evil eye. Let's quickly take care of these guys. Nearly went into an accident. Hit that eye, and then he goes up, and boom, we got the little MacGuffin, the little piece of the puzzle that we need to basically finish this temple. Like I said, the first two temples aren't too long. This one's a little longer than the first one, obviously, but other than that, they're not really that much of a problem. At least not when you've played the game more than once. On your first ever playthrough, though, they are difficult. Second time going through it, also equally can be a little difficult. but when you're like me and you've played this game like 6 times, you tend to, even when you haven't played it in a while, remember what you gotta do. And just like that, I'm gonna place this on in, and this temple is donezo. And ta-da! Just like that, our second Reaver upgrade. Here we come.
I plunged the Reaver into the forge and imbued the blade with the elemental power of light. Thus armed, I now had the means to re-enter the stronghold and finally use Mobius's time-streaming device to accomplish my own ends.
So yeah, you might have guessed with with this one that it was going to be the power of light that we needed. So we get light, darkness, and light in roughly the same time frame, at least in the same era. But nothing too crazy. Light it basically just allows us to shoot those little gemstones that we've been seeing. The one that guards the stronghold doors, and then obviously the one that briefly flashed at in when we came in here and the doors shut behind us. Yeah, that's basically it. There's nothing else, I don't think, that I can remember that light does. It is just simply shoot those. You can shoot those little stone things to activate things and open doors and whatnot. I'm trying to hit this from here though. First shot. Beautiful. I was gonna say it can be a little tricky to hit that first try from that distance. You can just get closer, but I always like to try and hit it from far. It just adds to the little bit of fun, you know. But with this is pretty much going to be the end of today's episode. We've been recording for about an hour and 10 minutes. About an hour and 10 minutes, wow. An hour and 6 minutes, to be precise. So I guess closer to an hour and 5, but that's neither here nor there. Once we get through here, I don't think, from what I remember, there isn't going to be a cutscene or anything like that. So we're just going to head on to a save point and then end the episode there. Well, end the episode now. You know, once again, temple seals shut behind us permanently, because he did mention the first one. We basically take all of the power that is in said temple and, you know, absorb it on into the Reaver. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. As per usual, I have, like I said, I love this game, love this franchise. Yeah, so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, whatever you fancy, you know, just interact, you know. But I will hopefully see you in the next video or episode in general. Bye!